Right, so thank you. Welcome back to my channel, ladies and gentlemen. I've got another massive interview with the one and only Jackie Mcnmara. Thank you ever so much for coming on and chatting with me.
Thanks for inviting me. Nice to be here.
Absolutely welcome. So, what were you like growing up?
I was obviously dead keen on being a footballer. I have two brothers, one older, one younger, and it's all I wanted to do. Played all the time and practiced, and obviously watched my dad playing mostly with Hibs. You know, he was too young. I was too young, sorry, when he was at Celtic, but I remember watching him quite a lot when he was at Hibs, and loved watching my dad play, and it's something I always wanted to do.
And what was it like growing up in Edinburgh?
It was good, yeah. We moved through from Cumbernauld when I was 8. I went to school at Parsons Green Primary up near Arthur Seat. You know, made some friends there and played boys club with Salveson and the Dyna Hibs. You know, and trained with a few clubs when I was growing up. Down at Man United a couple of years in a row. Trained with a lot of sort of Premier League. I was at Hibs for quite a bit, and I obviously wanted to follow my dad's footsteps at Hibs. But you know, when I got to that age when I was starting to grow, I kind of stopped. Not that I was tall anyway, but and then Hibs never invited me back, so it was a bit of a disappointment not to be deemed good enough or big enough for Hibs at that time.
What team did you support as a kid?
Obviously, it was supporting my dad. You know, as I said, I was very young when he was at Celtic, but most of my time he was at Hibs. So I grew up obviously watching the Hibs and watching the games and supporting my dad. And I always had a soft spot for Hibs. You know, but obviously Celtic was a dream come true to go and play there and be there 10 years. But there was a part of me that wanted to play a bit at Hibs before I finished my career. I tried that a few times. You know, when I came back from Wolverhampton after leaving Celtic, I wanted to go to Hibs then, but they didn't want me still.
What was your first footballing memory?
I would be watching my dad. My mum took me and my brothers to the games, so that would be my first memory. We watched my dad and it would be in a Hibs game. I remember watching quite a number of his games, and the Hibs fans used to sing his name. Only one, Mcnmara. He's quite proud of that.
What's the first cut? What was the first kit you ever got?
Kit, it would probably been the Hibs one. We used to get the new Hibs strip every year. You know, my dad used to buy us lots of strips. I remember having the Nottingham Forest one, the old Nottingham Forest one in the 80s as well, late 70s, sorry. Liverpool's, you know, I loved wearing football strips, but obviously the English ones were different from the Scottish ones. But I used to have quite a few.
What one do you wear now?
Just now, unfortunately none. If I do wear one, it'll be the Celtic one.
Same colour, I guess. What was it like getting your first Scotland cap?
It was brilliant. I was very proud. I've been in the obviously played for Scotland 21s. I never played for any other age groups growing up. You know, I wasn't deemed good enough or big enough growing up. Never played like 17s, 19s. But when I was playing with Dunfermline before I moved to Celtic, I was playing Scotland 21s, which was brilliant. And then I was, you know, going to the Celtic team after I moved, and then get an opportunity. I made my debut in a World Cup qualifier, which was the last time we got to a World Cup, which is scary. Was away in Latvia, I came on for the last bits of the game on the left-hand side, but I was just so chuffed and so proud to put on the Scotland strip and get my first cap.
Favourite team you've played for?
Celtic. Yeah, I think once you've been at a club like that, it's and you move around and you see the difference in the scale. It was, I loved my time at Dunfermline. My 5 years before I moved there, I loved playing there, and there's a few other clubs that I really enjoyed my time there. But Celtic is quite unique in terms of the pressure, the support. Once you play for the club, you're part of it forever, which is really good to be some part of something like that. When you watch your results, and even at the weekend, the Rangers game, watching that, getting angry with the result.
Now. Best player you've played with?
It would be Henrik Lassen. He was just incredible. When he first came in, he just got better and better each season. He had a bad leg break in one of the seasons there late on. I think it was 99. And he came back, and the following season he scored 53 goals in all competitions. He was just incredible. Then he left us and went on to Barcelona. Then Man United. So it tells you the calibre of the player and how good he was, and how what everybody else thought of him as well.
Toughest player you've played against?
Toughest player. I've had a few tough games, obviously, in my career. Mark Overmars played for Arsenal and Holland. We played against him with Holland, with Scotland in the playoffs. He was a tough opponent because he could go inside, and on both feet he had to try and get close to him very early. But I think probably the one that gave me the biggest kind of the hardest game would be Ludovic Julie for Barcelona. We played him in the Champions League game at Celtic Park. I actually got injured that night as well, but I gave away a penalty. I just couldn't get near him. He's about 5'4", but he's low centre of gravity, and he was absolutely a speed merchant. But clever. He was very clever as well. These runs, it was hard to mark.
Sorry. Best player you've played against?
Yeah, I would go Julie, Ludovic Julie. The other one was there, but he wasn't predominantly on my side. Was Ronaldinho, who was special as well. But I would say 1v1. I would say Julie.
The most skillful player you've played with?
Possibly the Romanian Moravcik. And he came to Celtic in his 30s. Nobody really heard a lot about him, but he was technically unbelievable. Both feet, you couldn't tell which foot was the strongest, but he could do things with the ball, and he was a special talent, Lubo.
The most skillful player you've played against?
Again, probably Ronaldinho, I think, the Barcelona. He was very skillful. He wasn't a bad player.
Daft hair though.
Yeah. Yep.
Best goal you've scored?
I wasn't renowned for my goals, but I would say possibly scored against Liverpool in the UEFA Cup at Celtic Park when we drew 2-2 with them. Should have won. lost a goal late on, but that was a good feeling scoring against them, against David James, who was English keeper at the time as well. So between that and, sorry to say, against Hibs in the cup final, when we won the treble in 2001 season, I scored the opening goal in the cup final against Hibs with my left foot, it wasn't a fantastic goal by any means, but for me, kind of growing up and against Hibs, who rejected me and didn't think I was good enough, was a special moment for me.
Best celebration?
Probably that one. And although, no, in fairness, the celebration would probably be I scored at Tynecastle. That'll please you. 97-98 season, and I done the old Del Boy, Fools and Horses. He was running away to my pals, and they were on the bench. So that was a kind of personal one with the lads.
Oh well.
The rest of them, just there was nothing, because it was a surprise if I'd scored a goal. It was more shock when you see my face when the ball went in.
But like you say, a goal's a goal, though.
Yeah.
What is it like to manage a team?
It was good and it was difficult, frustrating. I think when I had it going in my first two jobs at Partick Thistle, I got it after a spell. We got players there, young players and players that were maybe deemed a bit like myself and was younger. They weren't given a chance. And I like to play football. I like to do it with energy and pace and get at people and make things happen and actually look forward to the game. And I had that in two spells in my career as managing. Partick Thistle and at Dundee Utd we were scoring four goals or more for about 7 games in a row, and I actually look forward to the Saturday to see how my team would turn up. But unfortunately, I kind of lost the players that got sold on and went to bigger things. Robertson went away. Obviously, he's Liverpool now. Ryan Gold went away to Sporting Lisbon. And my front three went away to Celtic. Shifts Armstrong and Mackay-Steele. So it was tough. It was tough to change it in a short space of time.
Who was the hard man in the Celtic team?
The hard man, I would probably say between Big Johan Mjällby and Bobo Baldi. I think Bobo Baldi will just take it because he was an animal. I wouldn't want to get in the way of Bobo. He was a beast, and beast. If he was coming at you to go and fight, which I've seen him do a few times, I wouldn't fancy taking him on.
Well, you say that now. Who was the funniest player in the Dundee United team?
The Dundee United team? I think possibly at the start, my first one up there, Johnny Russell, I thought he was quite funny. He could banter about him. A few kind of jokers in the pack. I'd probably say Johnny Russell.
What's the best derby you've played in?
This derby would be the 6-2. We beat Rangers 6-2. It was Martin O'Neill's first game, which was, obviously I've played in quite a lot of Rangers games over the years. At the start, obviously we were chasing them. They had strong teams with Gascoigne and Loudrops, but that was a kind of turning point with Martin came in. We beat them 6-2. And Henrik was unbelievable that day. Chipped Kloss. It was phenomenal.
Didn't Larsson always do diving headers?
He scored all types. I mean, for someone who's, for his height, the amount of headers he won and scored with is incredible. But that if you ever get a chance to look back at that 6-2 game, you see his goal where he gets it runs alongside, I think it's two guy, and he puts it through Conterman's legs. Then he runs on and he chips Kloss. He actually chips him. It's an unbelievable goal.
What is it like playing with Scott Brown?
I never played with Bruni.
Oh, did you not?
No, played against him. He was a character. He was a young lad at Hibs. So when he came into Celtic, I was away. With Gordon came in.
Right. Well,
but I played against him. He was young. I played against him. I like him. He was quite a chirpy young lad. A wee bit about him, wanted to go in and quite brave and stuff. But I think he's had a fantastic career. He's done very well, and he's matured over the years as well, and turned into a real top player.
Still like the banter with Morelos right now.
Yeah, I just Morelos leaving me bits on, and you can see the game there, but it happens.
And how have you coped with having a brain hemorrhage? How have you coped with having a brain hemorrhage? I've
coped okay. I think it's been, at the time, it was worse for the family. I mean, they can't do anything. The way I look at it now, I was very lucky to survive it. The first bit when I collapsed at my house, then to make it to the hospital was pretty slim. Survive that. Then obviously when I had the operation to put the platinum coils in, the procedure kind of went wrong. It was the way it kind of wired up, and I had another rupture and bled in the theatre. So, which put me in the coma. At that point they told my wife and kids that I might not wake up. So that, I think that's worse for them, whereas I'm obviously just in the coma. You don't really know what's going on outside. They take it worse, your family and friends. So, but since I've come out of that, the different little setbacks in terms of hydrocephalus, which is warping the brain, so I had to get a shunt fitted a month after operation for the kind of headaches, which kind of drains the fluid into my stomach from my brain just now. So I'll have that the little contraption there. We don't see it, but you can obviously feel it in the back of my head, the shunt. And I've got one more operation which will happen pretty soon, hopefully, which is to put a stent in the artery which is next to where it ruptured in the first place, so I don't have another aneurysm. So once I get that done, then I'll feel a lot better a lot more confident that I can go and run or do certain things in a certain way, that I won't have that in the back of my mind that it might happen again.
Yeah. What was it like living in Glasgow? Edinburgh. But I've already said that.
Yeah, we moved through, and I think for me, being at Celtic for 10 years, it was the right thing to do. I've got 3 kids. I'd only really, Erin, my oldest, she was the only one that was kind of old enough at school when I was playing at Celtic. So I think it was good for us, for the family life, travelling back rather than living in the Goldfish Bowl at Glasgow. It wasn't too far. It's only an hour in the car, so I didn't mind. When you go back to normality in Edinburgh.
If you didn't play football, what would you have done?
I think I would be involved in sport, maybe a PE teacher or something. I don't know. I've done things since I finished playing football, but I'm still around football because it's what I know, and it's been my life since I was a wee boy. So I think it'd be difficult to predict me doing something other than sport or football.
What's your favourite game you've played in?
Favourite game? Possibly the 6-2 game against Rangers. That was a important game for us and a massive win. It's the biggest win we've had in the Darby. When I played, so I think that was a massive turning point for us.
Best club anthem you've heard?
Best club anthem. The Celtic ones. There's a few. I like a few of them. You Never Walk Alone at the start. I think that always hits the hairs down the back. So I think it'd be that one. Never Walk Alone.
Favourite night out?
See, I'm an old man now, so I'm trying to remember last time I was on a night out. Probably favourite night out would be probably a meal and a quiet drinks. Too old for partying.
Back in your younger days?
Back in my younger days, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, yeah, there have been a few drinks, and I wouldn't go dancing. I'm not a dancer.
Each to their own. Best boots you've had?
The best boots, I would probably say my first pair, which were, my first boots were the Puma Douglas Silver. Douglas was my hero growing up as a wee boy. But the boots that I wore that were probably my favourite were the Reebok Integrity that I used to wear at Celtic. They were black and white. I really liked it.
What do you think of VAR?
I think it could be a good thing if it's done right. It doesn't seem to be consistent like the referees, I suppose. You think with VAR that there's no any way that they can get it wrong, but they seem to be, getting. I don't see how one day looking at it, say that's a Stonewall penalty, and VAR says it's not. It's still people looking at a screen and debating it. But I was in favour of it coming out. I just hope that they can get it kind of spot on with everything.
How are you coping with the COVID restrictions?
Okay. I mean, the only bit when I came out of hospital, it's when the lockdown started, at the end of March. So it gave me a chance to recover at home. Got my hair back and different things, and covering all the scars and holes in my head. And I could go for a little walk here and there, just around the house, up the sort of park and stuff. So it's been okay for me personally, but it has been. You do worry about all the other people that affects with their jobs and their businesses, and it's quite a scary time.
Best stadium you've played in?
Be Barcelona, Camp Nou. Just a special place to play.
Funniest moment in the dressing room, like in your playing career?
Funniest moment? Probably be when Bobo Bali was trying to get to batter Stilian Petrov after one of the games. It was actually against Hibs. We'd lost it late on in the game, and a few people were shouting at Bobo Baldi, and Stilian was one of them. And then he came out of the changing room, and it was like Incredible Hulk trying to get past everybody, and Stilian was at the bottom of the hill. And certain people weren't that brave to try and stop him. He was just pushing people out of the way.
Did they get to Petrov?
No, I mean the manager jumped in, the assistant jumped. It must have been without exaggerating, at least 7 or 8 people between Stillian and Bobo. But eventually gave up and just done a big monster roar. Went away out the changing room. But I think we all know if he got a hold of Stillian, he would have given him a paste him, aye.
What inspires you?
What inspires me? A lot of things. It's just I love, obviously, football there and my kids. A lot of things inspire me. I like watching young players come through, get an opportunity, and my son's at Hibs Academy. He's been back into Hibs Academy there after all being locked down, so I'm hoping that he can follow in the footsteps. It'd be good if he went to Hibs and got a chance at Hibs and came through there. So it would maybe skip a generation with my dad playing there. I didn't play there, but maybe my son Sydney can get a chance at that.
So what do you do now you're not like playing or?
Watching, obviously, I try and help and look after a few players now. To manage them. I don't like the word agent. I prefer mentor, or trying to help them with their careers. I've done the management thing, which was frustrating. So this is kind of managing the individuals off the park, if you like, helping them and give them advice.
So if you had to do managing a game, would you do it?
I would never say never, but just now I've got no thoughts of doing it. It's very frustrating. If you'd say to me I could go and play football again, I would do anything to do that, because that's the best, being a player. The manager's, you're kicking every ball, it's consuming, it's very consuming, but there is rewards there when you see the players playing well and stuff, but it's not enjoyable enough for me.
What's the best team talk you've heard or done?
Team talk I've heard? I think it'd probably be Martin O'Neill. That was his forte. But I couldn't actually remember what he said. I think most of the players, he had a great knack of coming into the changing room before big matches, like, getting to the European Cup final, going to places like Liverpool. But he would, before the match, he would make you feel 10 feet tall going out there.
So what? Can you remember your first debut?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My debut with Dunfermline was against Arbroath in the Challenge Cup. And my debut for Celtic was against Falkirk at the old Brockville Stadium, where I signed that day and played at night. And I was very, very nervous going straight into it, but it helped me settle in with the team and obviously the fans as well.
So what are you hoping to do now?
I think enjoy myself, most importantly. As I said, I'm fortunate still to be here. I've got three lovely kids, my wife and dogs and great friends. Is to enjoy the time there and however long I've got left.
Do you still do television or not?
I haven't. I've done little bits. Yeah, I've done little bits. I haven't done that a great deal since I've come kind of, out of hospital and stuff. I've done one Celtic game, which was the first game of the season against Hamilton for Celtic TV. They said little bits and bobs, and, podcasts and stuff. Sometimes you say, I don't know about yourself, but when you're doing it, when you're talking about it, I find myself getting more emotional than I used to. That's maybe, I don't know, part and parcel of what's happened to me, but just sometimes I've kind of lost it a little bit, which I didn't do before.
Well, obviously, it annoys me when I'm in a shop in my wheelchair and folk just stare. and it's like, no need.
Yeah.
That would be like
Yeah.
piss. So I'm presuming you could walk. Well, did it take you a while to walk?
In the hospital, no. I mean, obviously, I was in my bed and I was in a drain and stuff after I came out of coma, and they put me back up to the ward upstairs. And then there was one day that I couldn't speak properly. My my dad and my brother were there, and I was trying to speak to them, and I knew what I was trying to say, but I couldn't get the words. Everything was coming out my mouth was not what in my brain I was trying to say.
You still there?
Actually getting worse. But in my mind, I knew what I was trying to say. Then the nurse came in and she asked me a question, and they took me up to the CT scan, and and I was about to have a stroke. I think it was one of a stroke at that point. It was called a vasospasm that I'd taken, so they took me back down to intensive care and kept my blood pressure up and stuff. So, but that was, I think, a week after I came out of the coma. So, yeah, crazy times. But as I said, I'm very fortunate to recover the way I have. There's a lot of people are not as fortunate as me.
And at least, like me, you're still here, thankfully.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for taking your time out. How many likes have we got in this video?
How many what?
Likes.
Quite a few, I think.
Pick a number.
What do you think? 1,000. That too low?
That's too high, but we'll go with it.
Yeah.
We'll go with it. But thank you so much. And when I end, I'll talk to you.
No problem. Good luck.